Here we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Young Entrepreneurs Showcase. My name is Andrew Shaw, and I'm the superintendent of Monroe Public Schools. This is an exciting day for myself to be a part of this for the very first time, but to see everybody here and what they're going to be sharing with us today and selling. So to get us started, though, we do need to thank a handful of people. First is the Board of Directors. Robert Yo is the president of the Young Generation E Institute. Dr. Julie Everly, vice president. Florence Buchanan, Beth Kohler, Tim Lake, Cassie Shook, and Holly Wallace. So if you give them a hand, I would appreciate it, because that's a great group of people there. Also, a big thank you to our Board of Education for their support in Gen E, and to our administration and all that they do. Today couldn't be made possible, though, without our sponsors. And our very first sponsor, and we're going to give them time to speak, is Kohler Architecture. Kohler Architecture does a great job with Monroe Public Schools and through all of our singing fund, our bond work, and are pleased to have them part of our system. And so Keith Kohler, if you could please come on over, and appreciate you as one of our top sponsors. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Keith Kohler. I'm with Kohler Architecture, and we're pleased to sponsor today's event. I am a Monroe High School graduate, so it's always fun to kind of come back and walk the halls. And today's really special because just seeing all the hard work that's out there. Being a local business owner, our company started back in 1977. I now practice with my brother, Mark Kohler. Was started by our father. And believe me, there's a lot of hard work that goes into the ideas that you bring forth in a business. And even though all of you can't be winners today, use it as a learning experience. And just know that even through failure, you can learn a lot and one day succeed. So grateful to be a part of this today.
Thank you very much, Keith. Tim Lake, who is on the board, couldn't be with us today, but Florence Buchanan is here and will speak also about their group. Here you be. All yours, ma'am.
Good morning. As you can see, I'm clearly not Tim Lake. But my name is Florence Buchanan, and I am a Generation E board member, and so glad to be here to represent the board. But Tim is out of town, and Tim is the CEO of the Monroe County Business Alliance. And just to give you guys a little bit of background on that, it's a newly formed nonprofit that was a combination of the Monroe County Chamber and the Monroe County Business Development Corporation. So let me just read you what the mission is of the Business Alliance. The Monroe County Business Alliance works with strategic partners to attract and retain a diverse range of businesses that create an economic environment of innovation and success. Now, I will say that I am not originally from Monroe, but I've been in Monroe since 1990, and I am an entrepreneur myself. I own a small consulting business, and it's been one of the most rewarding experiences of my entire career. So the Monroe County Business Alliance also works very, very hard to promote small business, and I can see some of my colleagues who are judges are also entrepreneurs. So I can see some budding entrepreneurs out there in that community, out here in the audience, excuse me. So, but they're not here on their own. They're here because their parents, their family, and their friends are supporting them. So I want to applaud too all the support that the parents and the family, it takes a village to have the children here and to become possible related to the Monroe County Business Alliance. So congratulations, have a great day, and we're looking forward to seeing you.
Thank you. Okay. So again, thank you to all of our sponsors for today. So Generation E, the mission of Generation E is to create communities of entrepreneurial learning. Gen E instills an entrepreneurial mindset in students, fostering the next generation of leaders and innovators in our communities. These young entrepreneurs have been guided through the process of developing business models to create their own products, prototypes, and services. And so we are excited for you today to see everything that you've produced and look forward to going out there and buying some of that stuff. Now, today though, we also have, as Florence was saying, you know, entrepreneurs, and our keynote speaker is one of them. So Chip and Carrie Williams are small business owners of Williams Insurance Agency in downtown Monroe. They have had much success in growing their business and giving back to local schools and the community. Mrs. Williams is an experienced school counselor and school administrator and taught psychology and educational courses at Lourdes University and Monroe Community College. She has degrees from Albion College, Siena Heights University, and Concordia University. Mr. Williams attended Central Michigan University and has degrees from Spring Arbor University and Marygrove College. He taught band and choir for 20 years and now works for Wild Strides, planning performances and travel for school groups. So both of these are extremely courageous people because they started out in one career but felt led to go into an entrepreneurial career. And so today we get to listen to their story and invite them to the stage.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, everyone. We are Carrie and Chip Williams, Williams Insurance Agency, located at 14 West Front Street in beautiful downtown Monroe. We handle all of your insurance needs, whether it be your home, auto, your boat, your campers, toys, or life insurance. We are your one-stop shop for all of that stuff in beautiful downtown Monroe. We are retired educators, so we believe in educating those that come into our office, because even if we aren't the right fit for you, we want you to be able to have that conversation with the person that you talk to down the street about your insurance. We also like to give back to our community. Last year we gave back over 500 hours in volunteer times and over $30,000 back to local school districts from our agency. We are Carrie and Chip Williams, Williams Insurance Agency of Southeast Michigan, located at 14 West Front Street in beautiful downtown Monroe. I'll explain more about that in a minute.
Good morning. So we like to bring a little bit of energy to our presentations. We've been doing this a little while. As former educators, we're also national speakers on educational technology and blended learning, and that was before the pandemic started and everyone's had to be on their technology. So we're former educators, but we felt led and moved and blessed for an opportunity to start our own small business. So it's been very successful, and we've had a lot of great memories along this journey. And you'll see our little slideshow is kind of just going to move along while we're talking. We're not really talking about each of those. It's just kind of filler for you to check it out and see.
Those are better to look at than our faces. So.
So Chip started out with his elevator speech. And if you don't know what an elevator speech is, now's the time to get one. So when we come around to visit the booths for the students today and our young entrepreneurs, we're going to be asking, tell me about yourself. Tell me about your product. Where have you been? Where are you going? That's what an elevator speech is. If you can get out who you are, what you do, and why you do it in 60 seconds, that's going to make you successful, and you're going to make more connections to more people, which leads to better business and more sales.
Studies show that, number one, your first impression makes the most difference as to whether someone is going to listen to you or not. So when you were walking into a job interview or when you were starting up a business, you want to make sure that the first impression, the first thing that they see is what you want them to see. Okay, I could have walked in today in ripped jeans or short shorts or something totally inappropriate for this, and you're not going to listen to me because it doesn't make any sense, okay? You have to make that impression before somebody even hears your voice. Once you start talking, you have 10 seconds to make an impression on them. If you don't make an impression on them in the first 10 seconds, it doesn't matter if you have a 60-second elevator speech, they're not going to listen to you. Okay? They're either going to blow you off or they're going to get that. look going, okay? So think about what you want to say and have that elevator speech ready to go, because you've got 10 seconds to win that person. Same goes with when you walk into a job interview. Your first question for a lot of employers, and it's really cliche, but so tell me about yourself. You've got 10 seconds for me to start listening to the next 90 seconds that you're going to talk. Carrie?
So people ask us all the time, how did we get started? And that's a very long story, but to shorten it up in the next few minutes here, it was definitely a leap of faith. It took lots of prayer, lots of courage. You got to be fearless if you're going to start over and do something different. It was a lot about perfect timing. And the first time I found out about the opportunity of owning my own business, I was on the phone with someone. They had called me. I had applied just on a whim, thinking, oh, well, I'll try this instead. He called me and I said, no, I'm not interested. No. He called again a couple days later. We started talking. He called again the next week. We found out our kids went to the same school, played on the same football team, baseball team, all that good stuff. We started building a relationship. And really, every entrepreneur in this room needs to know selling anything is about building relationships. So long story short, 5 months later, we had our grand opening for our business. And it was exciting. We had the support of our family, my parents, our kids. It's just amazing. And the support that we have from the community and other entrepreneurs and small business owners is just awesome. So we're not only insurance salespeople, we own our office, we do that by day. You'll also see us all over the community, and you'll see that on Facebook. We share a lot about where we are and what we're doing, because it's important for us to have those connections, do some networking, talk to people, find a mentor. Every small business person has a challenge. They may have lots of challenges, and they may have the same challenges as you. To ask questions, ask them, how did they get through it? What did they do different? How did they pivot during the pandemic? If we would have started our small business right at the beginning of the pandemic, we would have never survived. But again, perfect timing. We started about 3 years before that hit, and we were able to survive. Our sales were down like most places, but we just kept trudging along and going forward. And you can change your mind about what you want to do in your lifetime for your career 1,000 times, as long as you keep moving forward. Do something different. Be fearless.
Definitely. You want to, my mantra on a lot of things is relentless forward motion. Even if I get knocked back, it's relentless forward motion. And that's really kind of what's gotten us to where we are today. I taught band, choir, and theater for 21 years. Absolutely loved it. It's my passion. I still today get to work with band, choir, and theater kids all over the country. And that is what keeps my soul full, to be honest. But in 2014, I was at work, I had a sinus infection, I blew my nose. And instantly the room started to spin. I was nauseous. I went to the doctor, told him what happened. The doctor looked in my ear and said, well, I don't see any wax buildup. Oh, I couldn't hear anything out of my left ear. Doctor said, well, I don't see any wax buildup. You must be fine. Here's something for your sinus infection. A week later, I still had the same symptoms. I wound up going to a specialist. Specialist walked in the room, looked at me and said, you blew your nose? I said, yeah. He said, room started spinning? I said, yeah. He goes, get him scheduled for tomorrow. I went, get him what, for who? So I wound up having ear surgery the next day to basically take care of the nausea and the spinning, but I have permanent hearing loss in my left ear. I continued to try and teach, thinking I can power through this. I have, the appliances to help. 2017, or we opened our business on October 1st of 2016. By March of 2017, Carrie had grown the business enough that she needed help. And she looked at me and she said, are you ready to retire? No, I was not ready to retire. But it was what was best for my students, because they needed somebody that could come in, that could hear, that could teach them what they needed to do. So in June of 2017, I retired from teaching and went to work full-time at our agency. Sometimes you get pushed in a direction that you don't necessarily want to get pushed in, that you don't feel comfortable being pushed in. That's okay. Learn from that. Take that experience, take that opportunity, and use relentless forward motion, relentless positive motion to push yourself forward.
So again, we sell insurance. We have an office downtown, but that's not all we do. So we find it really important to give back to our community, and we want to give back in meaningful ways. So I just don't want to, give my time, my effort, and my money in places that I don't feel that are valued. I want to do something different. So we find ways that we can give back to the community. We've been board members on different organizations and different entities. We've given back to the United Way, who supports homelessness, child hunger, education, and financial stability here in the community. So I'm a board member there. We've been campaign chairs for the United Way. Chip's been on the Humane Society board. He's been on the DDA, Downtown Development Authority. He's the chairperson for our Downtown Monroe Business Network.
Network.
Again, so the DMBN, Downtown Monroe Business Network, is an entity of Downtown Monroe small business owners, and we put on events throughout the year. So we have about one event every month, and that's to bring more people into the downtown area, to get into some of those businesses, check them out. Maybe it's the first time they're walking into our office. We just recently had an art Thursday night throughout downtown Monroe, and we were able to host about 80 pieces of artwork from Monroe High School students in our building. And I would say that our office was the most beautiful of all of the art crawl businesses, but I might be biased, but it does bring a lot of color into our office, and we absolutely love that, hosting that event. But there's other events. There's the concert series downtown. There's the open air market that's coming up in June. Again, lots of small businesses and young entrepreneurs will be there. So that's a great place for you to start. Come on downtown for the open air market. Talk to people. Ask them about their products. How did they get started? Is this a side gig? Is this their full-time gig? It's really interesting when you get to talk to people and hear about what their story really is and why they do it.
And I'm sure we are probably getting to or are over our time. So as we come around today, we will probably look at you and say, so tell me about yourself. All right? Start getting that in your mind.
We want to encourage our small businesses here and our young entrepreneurs to continue to keep learning, keep growing. What you're learning now in school is going to set you up for future success. Business writing, business reading, telephone skills,
Yes.
telephone etiquette. So you need to talk more on the phone, not just the texting. We do use texting in our business. We use a lot of email, but
Please,
phone.
parents, stop texting your children. Call them. Force them to talk on the phone.
Have them call their grandparents or their aunts and uncles or a family friend and practice. But they really need to know how to address someone on the other side of the line when they're talking on the phone, how to bring energy into their voice on the phone, how to answer the phone, how to start a conversation, how to move conversations along, and all of that is going to help them become more successful in the future. Anything else?
I think it's probably time for us to wrap up what we're talking about. So
we're Carrie and Chip Williams from Williams Insurance Agency, located at 14 West Front Street in beautiful downtown Monroe. We can take care of all of your insurance needs. Give us a holler and we'll be happy to help you out.
Thank you. Stay right here for 1 second. So, one of the things, a big takeaway, loved how you say keep moving forward, but what did it take to figure out how to create your elevator speech. So I think it's one of the things that kids need to understand. Did you stand in front of a mirror? Did you coach each other? What was it about that you go, okay, we've got it figured out? Because I think, you know, when you stood right up here, you had that face, you had that charisma. What did it take to make that elevator speech work?
So your elevator speech, it's not a natural thing. Okay, for most people, it's not a natural thing. I'll be honest, I taught band and choir for 21 years. I talked to auditoriums full of people. It, to this day, is still terrifying to me. Okay? But the elevator speech really kind of came from, I was actually in a sales training for a different job, and they're like, we're going to spend the next 3 hours perfecting your elevator speech. You know, what you would say to somebody if you met them in an elevator and you only had 30 to 60 seconds to tell them what was going on. And I'll be completely honest, my elevator speech is different almost every time I give it. And it definitely depends on the room that I'm talking to. Okay? But one of the big things that I want to point out, if you noticed in our elevator speech, our elevator speeches, we told you who we are, where we're located, what we do, went into a little bit about how we're able to give back, but at no point did I ever say to you, I'm going to sell you insurance. Because as soon as I'm ready to sell you something or try to sell you something in that elevator speech, you're not listening to me anymore. So it's about the experience, not the sale. It's about the relationship.
I appreciate that, because that's very important for you all to understand, is that you're not trying to make that sale. It's that relationship that's going, making people go, okay, I want to stay here longer. I want to know more. And then the natural side will be is, can we make an appointment to have you look over my insurance? Can we make an appointment to purchase your goods? So think about it in that way. So Chip and Carrie, thank you very much today. We appreciate you and appreciate what you do for our district. Are we really out of time? Okay, we're back. Exactly, so thank you, everybody. All right, let's get this thing moving right along. So next, I want to make sure, though, to introduce our judges. So the judges today are Mandy Bomia. There she is, way in the back. Florence Buchanan. There she is. Allison Drugel. Patsy Duffy. Griffin Geiger. Megan Gibson. There we go. Ashley Glass. Asia Hawthorne. Beth Kohler. Keith Kohler. Drew Leindecker. Dave Morelli. Stella Richards. Alex Salzman. Jamie Salzman. Parker Starr. Sue Vanasecker. Holly Wallace. Joel Williamson. And Larry Zimmerman. All right. So it does take all these judges. We have so many of you out there. So they're going to do a great job today of getting out there, judging your elevator speech, judging your booths. So with that, I'm hopefully not going to miss anything else. Just a couple last items. Parents, you know, you had to bring cash. So we have 2 banks located out there. So if you need to break those big bills, at the end, we'll be back in here at 1 o'clock for the awards ceremony. Did I miss anything? Great. All right. First time, you don't want to mess it up too big. So with that, though, we're going to dismiss our students first. So students, you go ahead and make your way. Judges, and so you can go ahead and go too. And then parents also. So thank you, everybody. Let's have a great sale. Oh, thank you, guys.
Yes, thank you.
There you be. Thank you.